स्वाध्याय टीवी। डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी।
Namaskar friends, I Dr. Himanshu Patel welcomes you from the Chaitanya studio of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University. We are on lecture series on mobile application development in Android. In last session we have learned about list activity, list view, how to customize list view and how to handle list click event by using on item click listener. In today's session we are going to discuss one important control which are known as a picker control, in which you can select date or time, because selecting the date and time is one of the common tasks you need to perform in a mobile application. Android supports these functionality through time picker and date picker views. Using time picker you can get time, and using date picker, as its name suggests, you can fetch date from the user. These controls can also be implemented using dialog. Whenever it is implemented using dialog, it occupies less space on the screen. So, picker controls are nothing but date picker and time picker, and we will see how to implement these controls as a dialog also. So, we write down two programs today. One is application which allows user to set appointment on selected date and time using date picker and time picker. Now, first program we create using control. That means, you have to just drag control from the palette on your interface and it will do all the necessary functionality for you. You have to do is fetch data or date and time from these controls. And now, second program is using dialog. Dialog is a window that appears on your interface whenever some action is taken. For example, we can have one button which you can press to open these controls as a dialog. So, this dialog occupies less space on the screen. So, whenever there is constraint of space on your interface, you can use these dialogs, or if you just want to fetch date and time, you can use this control also. So, here first program interface is there. Here in these select date, you can see this is a text view. Below this is a date picker, in which user can change this month by pressing plus, which increments month, and minus, which decrements month, date, which is incremented by plus and decremented by minus, and this is a year. Likewise, in time picker we have hours and minute, and you can also specify whether it is AM or PM. Normally, this format is in 24 hours format, but if you press PM and if it is 8, then it is internally returned as a 20. So, you can also know 8 is a PM or AM, because whenever you fetch hour from this control, it returns 20. So, this is how you can know whether AM is there or PM is there, and there is a second is a minute. So, to fetch hours and minute or set hours and minute, we can use these control. Now, here we place one button called set appointment. Whenever user press this set appointment button, we will fetch these date and time set by user and display these in a toast as a message: appointment set on date so and so and time so and so with AM and PM. This is our first program interface that we are going to implement. Second is a program that implements these control as a dialog. So, here in screen you can see first is a time picker dialog that provides same functionality. If you press cancel, then nothing happens. What you want to do in set button, that you can specify. And second is a date dialog, in which it provides same functionality as a date picker control, but in form of dialog. Now, this dialog can be activated by pressing button on your interface. So, this will occupies less space. Both provide same functionality, but advantage of dialog is it requires less space on your interface, because it is temporarily. When you press set button, it automatically disappears. These two programs we will implement today. So, what you will learn in this program is date picker and time picker as a control, date picker dialog, how to set date using on date set listener, how to display time picker dialog, and how to implement its set functionality using on time set listener. And we will learn two methods, show dialog to actually show these dialogs, and inside on create dialog we will create these dialogs. We also learn some of the methods of calendar class to fetch current date and time. So, let us start writing this program. First we write down date and time picker as a control. So, on screen you can see this is a welcome screen of our Android. So, here I am just pressing start a new Android Studio project. Now, our functionality is appointment. So, I write down application name as appointment, then I press next and next, and inside I select blank activity and press next. So, our activity is set appointment. So, I give name set appointment activity and then press finish. So, it will create one project with one activity file with Java extension and one layout file with XML extension for us. So, here on screen you can see it is creating one project for us. Now, here you can see one file called set appointment.java and activity underscore set appointment.xml for displaying layout. Here I minimize this window and maximize this interface. So, here I am deleting this default text view and putting one plain text view here and set its text as a select date. Now, I fetch date picker from date and time. So, here is our date picker that I am just putting below this text view, and we can set its name as a date picker 1 also. Now, I am dragging another text view to instruct user that he has to select time also. So, I am setting text as a select time. Now, below this I put time picker. So, here is a time picker, and in last we place one button and set its text as a set appointment, and we set its ID as a btn OK. So, now our interface is ready. Next we write down code for the same. So, here I am going to set appointment.java file and declare we have to set our time picker name. So, I double click these and set its ID as a time picker 1. Remember, date picker ID is date picker 1, time picker ID is the time picker 1 and button ID is btn OK. So, now I go to set appointment.java file, declare date picker and time picker here. So, by pressing control space bar you can always get help. So, date picker dp, I declare one time picker tp and one button OK. Next we take reference of these controls inside on create. So, I write down tp is equal to, tp is a time picker and its ID is time picker 1. So, same way dp is a date picker and its ID is r dot id dot date picker 1 and our button ID is, which is OK, is equal to button represented by ID r dot id dot btn OK. Next we implement on click listener for these OK button and inside these we create instance of on click listener and write down code inside on click method. So, whenever this button is pressed we should fetch this date and time provided by date picker and time picker. So, I write down same code inside this on click method. So, here I declare 3 variable dd, yy which represent date, month and time and hour and minute to represent time pickers hour and minute. So, here I am fetching dd is equal to our date picker is dp dot get day of month method is there. So, day of month will give us day of that month which is our date and inside I fetch dp dot get month, but these month starts from 0. So, January is 0. So, we have to add 1 in case of month. So, you should remember that inside month we have to increment by 1, otherwise your program will show, if you select December then it shows November previous month. So, that is why I am adding 1 to this month. Now, next is a year. So, here I write down yy is date picker year. So, I write down get year method. Inside HR I fetch tp dot get current hour which represent hour set by user and inside I write down tp dot get current minute. We have date and time set by user inside these variables. Next, just we want to display is our these values in form of toast. So, I am just creating toast and display all this information inside toast. So, here I declare one variable string message. So, here I write down appointment set on. Here I write down MSG is equal to MSG plus. So, here I write down DD which is our day, then separator, then month, then again separator and then year. So, these message will display So, these will write in first line it displays appointment set on, in second line it displays, here I am appending /n. So, it goes to next line, and in next line it displays date colon and then day, month and year separated by separator. In next line we should display time. So, here I write down time colon plus HR plus colon which is separator for time plus MI, and again this should be in new line. So, I am appending new line in previous line. So, our message is ready. Next we create toast. Here I am declaring toast T, and I can create, here I am pressing Alt Enter to take import for toast. Here I am declaring toast T instead of directly showing toast message. So, I can write down T is equal to toast dot make text context, second is message and third is a how much time toast should be displayed. So, length long. Here before showing toast by writing T dot show like this, we set its gravity. So, here I am setting gravity to display toast in center. So, here I write down the gravity dot. So, here I can have various options. So, I am selecting center vertical to display vertically in center, and offset is 0 0. So, it specify distance from central vertical. So, I am setting gravity to display toast in center of screen, and then I can should call show method. So, our code is ready, our interface is ready. Next we want to save this file and run this application by clicking on run app button. So, I am just clicking that button, it will try to launch new emulator and displaying these inside that emulator. So, here on screen you can see it is asked to launch emulator already created with name myavd. So, I click this checkbox so that next time it will not open this dialog box, and then press OK to actually start emulator. Here on screen you can see emulator is started. Next it tries to launch our application inside this emulator. Whenever emulator is started for the first time, it takes a long time, but then you have to minimize your emulator and then again launch your application. So, on screen you can see our interface. First is select date, then user can select date by pressing these plus or minus. For example, I want to set on August 15 at 7:30 am, then I can select August 15 at 7:30 am, and then suppose I press this set appointment button, it shows that appointment set on 15th August 2015 at 7:30. Next we want to display AM and PM. So, how to display this? There is no direct way to get these AM or PM, but if your time written is greater than 12, then you can understand it is PM, and if it is below 12, then you can understand it is AM. So, next we set these criteria in our code. So, I am just going to set appointment.java file, and here I write down if HR greater than 12, which means it is. So, what I write down here is plus PM and else we write down same thing, but with AM. And whenever HR is greater than 12, we should subtract 12 from these, because now we are specifying PM and AM in our code. So, I am running this application to test inside emulator. So, here is our updated interface. Here, suppose I am pressing set appointment right now, then it shows with PM, but suppose it is AM. So, I am just clicking instead of PM, I can toggle these AM and PM by clicking on it. So, I am just pressing setting AM and then press set appointment button. Here you can see it is a AM. Suppose if I not subtracted 12 and it is PM, then it shows 15 instead of 3. So, if you want to write down AM and PM, then when in case of PM you have to subtract 12 from hour. So, this is how date and time picker control works. Next program is representing same control inside dialog box. On screen you can see our Android Studio welcome screen. So, I am just start a new Android Studio project, give its name appointment dialog and then press next. Our application is appointment, but using dialog. So, that is why I write down appointment dialog and then press next. I select minimum SDK and then press next. Here I am selecting blank activity and press next. Here it is asking activity name. So, I write down appointment dialog activity or appointment activity. So, appointment dialog is the also name for our activity. I just press finish. So, it will create project with one Java file and one XML file as usual with specified name. So, here is our blank layout file in which we are going to put two buttons which activates our date and time picker dialogs. So, I am just deleting this default text view and placing one plain text view. And set its text to select date and time for appointment. Next, I am putting one button below this to display date dialog. So, here I write down select date and T and date is the name of this button. Next, I put another button below this and set its text as a select time and ID is button time. So, whenever this select date button is pressed, it shows date dialog, and whenever this select time button is pressed, it shows time picker dialog. So, I am saving this file and go to this Java file. Here I declare two button date and button time. So, here I take reference for date. So, date is equal to button which represented by ID, btn date, and time is button represented by ID, btn time. Now, inside these date dot on set on click listener, we write down code for showing date dialog. So, here I implementing on click listener, and inside these on click method we write down code for the same, and likewise we have time dot set on click listener, and inside these on click listener we are write down code to show this time picker dialog. Here, to set default date and time for these dialogs, we fetch current date and time using calendar control. So, here I am declaring calendar, and calendar name is today. Now, here I declare some integer variables. So, here I write down integer dd, mm, yy, hr and mi, similar to previous example. So, here I write down dd dot today. Today is a object of type calendar. So, here I write down, and there is a one constant which represent date, day of month is a correct field name, and inside I write down today dot get, but this time we use constant month. To represent month, and in to get year we write down today dot get, but our constant is year. Similarly, for get hour we write down today dot get, and inside minute we write down today dot get minute. So, these variable represent current date and time. Now, inside these there is a, in activity file there is a method called on create dialog. Like on create we have method on create dialog. So, after on create I write down on create dialog. So, here is a method. So, I press enter. So, here we can create these dialogues, and we have to use different ID for different dialog. For example, date picker dialog ID may be 0 and time picker ID may be 1. So, here I call two methods. Inside date button I write down show dialog 0. So, it will automatically call these on create dialog method, and inside these it pass 0. So, here we can write down if it is 0 then we have to show date dialog, and if inside time button we write down show dialog 1. So, here we write down if it is 1 then we have to create time picker dialog, and otherwise if it is 0, we have to create date picker. So, here I write down switch on ID and inside case 0 I write down code for creating date picker dialog. So, here I write down date picker dialog and inside these we have to provide 5 arguments. So, these is a context, second is a dates on date set listener that we are going to create later on. So, here I write down null, then year which is represented by YY, month which is represented by MM and day which is represented by DD. So, what is this second argument is we discuss soon, but here we write down break. So, case 0 will create date picker dialog, but remember we have not added any functionality when user press set button. So, here I am creating time picker dialog. So, inside time picker dialog we have to provide 5 arguments. So, first is context, second is a listener which is null, then hour which is represented by HR, next minutes which is represented by MI and we want to provide 24-hour view. So, I write down true which is boolean. So, here we create 2 buttons and inside on click we call show dialog method, and if we pass 0 then this on create dialog will create on date picker dialog, and if argument is 1 then it creates time picker dialog. But these on date set listener and this is on time set listener which should be implemented separate to simplify code. That is why I initially provide null value. Now, here these variables are shown in red because they are not in our scope. So, we should declare these variables globally. So, I am putting before on create. So, now it becomes global. So, they are available inside these method. So, now it shows proper. Next we create declare 2 variables. One is on date set listener which is date set listener and on time set listener which is time set listener. So, these 2 arguments we provide inside these null values. Now, these 2 specifies what to do when set button of date picker dialog is pressed, and these time set listener specifies what to do when set button of time picker dialog is clicked. So, here we write down code for the same. So, here I am creating on date set listener, our variable name is date set listener. So, inside date set listener I create on date set listener instance, and here we specify what to do when this set button is pressed. So, here we display toast that particular date is selected from date picker. So, here I write down make text, first argument is context, second is message. So, our message is date is, and then DD plus month plus separator plus YY and last argument is a duration which is specified by toast dot length long, and lastly we call show method. So, these will display message that date is this. Now, likewise we implement time set listener. So, here I write down time set listener is equal to new date picker dot on time set listener, and inside on time set I can write down. Here you can also get current year, current month and current day. So, I replacing this DD with day of month, with month of year and YY with year. So, we will always get correct value. So, here say likewise here it represent current hour and current minute. So, I just display toast that first argument is a context, second argument is a message. So, message is time is plus first argument is hour of day plus separator which is colon plus minute, and last argument is a duration. So, which is toast dot length long, and finally we call show method. So, here our code is ready. Once again I need to explain. First we created instance of calendar to fetch initial value. In on click method we call show dialog method, which actually calls this on create dialog. If id is 0, then we create date picker dialog, and now this null is represented by date set listener, and this null is represented by time set listener. So, this will create date picker dialog, which is a set functionality handled by this date set listener, which means displays toast, and this is initial date and time to be shown inside date picker dialog. And same way here we create time picker control with set functionality represented by time set listener, and initial value of hour and minute is specified by these two variables. Here I write down return null, here I write down return, here also we write down return Here on the screen you can see there are two buttons displayed. Initially it was showing force close error because of we have not created instance of calendar that we see inside code. So, here when you press this select date, it shows current date and you can change this date as in case of date time picker control, and whenever you press this set button it shows selected date. Likewise, whenever you press this select time button, this shows current date and time and you can change this date and time, and whenever this set is pressed, that is show selected time is whatever time selected is. So, inside code we have write down calendar today is equal to null, but since we have not created instance of this calendar object, we are getting that force close error. So, now our code is ready. So, here first we create current date and time, then we implement on click method, then we created date set listener and time set listener, and inside that we write down toast message. Inside on create we have to create date time picker dialogues, and inside these on click method we have to call show dialog method. So, today we have learned date picker and time picker control. We have also learned how to display date and time picker dialog and how to use calendar to get current date and time, and how to use show dialog and on create dialog method. I hope you enjoy the session. Thank you and happy learning.
स्वाध्याय टीवी